In this episode of Be Hooked Crochet, we're going to explore one of my favorite new yarns, Studio DK by Daramores. This yarn checks all the boxes for me and I'm really excited to share it with you. For more details, please visit behookedcrochet.com/Studio DK. All right, let's have a look at this wonderful yarn. I've just had the opportunity to try out a brand new yarn from Daramores. It's called Studio DK, and as you can see from the label, it has an anti-pilling quality to it, which is one of the things that really attracted me to it. Before we talk about that, though, I want to give you just a little bit of details about this yarn and why I'm sharing it with you because, well, I like to share the yarn that I use personally and that I love, that's readily available, that's affordable, and well, this yarn really checks off all of those boxes. Now, Studio DK yarn is available from Daramores, which is a company that's based out of the UK, but to us here in the States, it is available. We can purchase it directly from their website, and it is one of the most affordable yarns that I have come across. So you can purchase one of these balls from daramores.com for $2.49. Yes, $2.50 will get you one of these balls of yarn. It makes it such an economical choice for bigger projects. And when you factor that in with all the other good qualities, then you'll really start to see why I'm really excited about this yarn. Let's first have a close-up look of the yarn label so we can see exactly what we're getting for our money. When we buy one ball of yarn of Studio DK, we're going to get 250 meters, which is approximately 273 yards of yarn. That's 100% acrylic and is a lightweight category yarn. So that's DK weight, number 3, lightweight. It's given in a few different ways there, all meaning the same thing. We have a lightweight yarn that's really great for any type of project. Now, Studio DK is a 100% acrylic yarn, and one of the first things you'll notice when you take it out of the package is that it's incredibly soft for an acrylic yarn. My husband, as you can imagine, knows a lot more about yarn than probably most men, but the one thing that you don't have to be an expert in is the feel of things, right? So when I received this yarn, I opened the box, I'm showing my husband, and I'm like, man, you have to feel this. And he said that this is one of the softest acrylic yarns that he has ever felt. And so yes, this yarn is husband approved. On the yarn label, we can also find the care instructions. That's another thing that makes this yarn really great for larger projects that you're going to wear or that's going to need a lot of care or washing. Well, this yarn is wash and dryer safe. You're going to want to wash it on the cool cycle. I always recommend washing on the gentle cycle when you're doing hand crocheted items. That just gives me a little bit more peace of mind when I'm laundering my items that I've spent so much time on. But you want to make sure you wash this on the cold cycle and tumble dry on low. You want to do that on the low setting. And you can also lay it flat to dry. That's also something that I sort of default to. I don't typically like to put my hand crochet stuff in the dryer. It's just a personal preference. I just take a little longer to let it air dry, and I know it's completely safe. However, this yarn is safe to put in the dryer on that low setting. A couple things you don't want to do with this yarn is, of course, you don't want to iron it. It is 100% acrylic, so that would not be a good situation. And you don't want to use bleach on this yarn. Now, you can take this to the dry cleaner. It is dry cleaner safe, which is something that's a little bit different from some of the other yarns that you'll find. That's definitely a nice quality to have if you're making something that's going to be more of an heirloom or a project that somebody is going to cherish for a long time. One of the biggest features that drew me to this yarn was this anti-pilling technology. Now, as you know, acrylic yarns are known for pilling, and what that is when the yarn gets repetitive rubbing or wear, it starts to get a little bit fuzzy. And we see that with a lot of acrylic yarns that we use here in the States. And, there's really not a great way around that except for having a yarn that is incorporating an anti-pilling technology in that. So what does that mean to you? That means you can make a project with this yarn and you're not likely to see it pill over repetitive wearing, use, and laundering. Now, there's a funny story about that. Recently, I just took a trip to Denver to film a Craftsy class, and I took a couple of these balls of yarn with me. I had 2 carry-on for my flight, and I was able to bring a backpack with me. That was sort of like my one carry-on, my purse, and I stuffed a couple of these balls of yarn in the drink holders of the backpack, so one on each side, and I took that with me the entire trip. And so this yarn got some serious rubbing and repetitive wear on it just from being at the airport all day, being stuffed into small places and back, and pulling the yarn out and putting the yarn back in. And I would say that most yarns that I would have come across would have started to fuzz after that. Well, I was surprised to find out that it did not do that. I want to bring those 2 balls of yarn that I brought with you. I want to show you those just so you can see that it did not pill at all through this experience. Now, these are the 2 balls of yarn that went to Denver with me and back home in that backpack being squished and rubbed. And as you can see, they look exactly the same as the other one here that I had on set. Now, you can't see hardly any pilling or any fuzz whatsoever. So this is tried and true. I really do stand behind that, in that you're not going to have a lot of pilling with your projects when you use this yarn. Now I'm bringing another color in the frame here just so you can get an idea of the variety of colors that are available. You're really not going to be limited in your selection if this is the yarn that you choose for your project. Studio DK is available in 35 different colorways. I have a selection of them here, and you can see a lot of them are bright and fun and colorful. There's some red over here as well, and really the sky is the limit. You can find a nice array of the color palette when you visit Daramore's website to purchase this yarn. The other really notable thing you're going to find on their website when you look into getting some of this yarn is the reviews. There aren't a lot of people out there who leave honest reviews about yarn on the website. We'll just be completely honest with that. And that's one thing I was surprised by. There are, at least the last time I checked, at the recording of this video, there were 1,198 reviews left for this yarn. And when you average those out, it's 5 stars. That is crazy and unheard of. 1,198 people together, when you add up and average out their review of this yarn, it's 5 stars. You really can't get much more clear than that. So you're probably wondering how it is to crochet with Studio DK, and my answer to that would be that it's really delightful to work with. It is one of the most softest acrylics that I've worked with, which is really nice, so it makes it easy to crochet for long periods of time. If you're going to be working on a larger project, an afghan or a garment or something like that, you don't have to worry about any harsh rubbing or anything like that on your finger. This is, like I said, definitely one of the softest acrylics that I've worked with. And as you can see here, I've just got this little swatch that I'm working on. One of the cool things about it being a DK weight yarn is that it works really well for crochet cables. I've always been one to really like the look of crochet cables with a lighter weight yarn. And that's just because it allows you to, well, just get a more closer look to a traditional cabled knit. And that's because the yarn is lighter, the cables are a little bit thinner, and it gives that appearance. So I can also see this yarn being used for any type of project that's going to get a lot of wear and tear, or maybe a project that needs a lot of laundering. So I'm thinking garments is going to be great for that, because typically when we use an acrylic yarn for a garment, one of the problems that we have is pilling or fuzzing. And we don't really have to worry about that here with the anti-pilling yarn. It's also washer and dryer friendly, as we learned earlier, so you can wash it and know that you can wear it more than once. I also see this yarn being used for afghans or blankets, baby blankets especially. Those are going to need a lot of laundering, so you can rest assured that when you invest a lot of time in a project with a high quality yarn like this, that it's going to last. So you don't have to worry about you putting all of that time and effort into something and then it not last for very long. You may also consider amigurumi or any type of crochet toy or accessories would be really good for this yarn as well. Because again, with the amigurumi, I have a lot of amigurumi projects that I've made with acrylic yarns, and over time they just get kind of fuzzy and they just don't hold up to the wear and tear that they sometimes see. So I mentioned that there are 35 different colorway options with this yarn. Well, one of the other cool things that Daramores has done, if you have a hard time picking out different colors and color combinations, well, they do have a couple of color packs available for you so that somebody has already gone through and decided which colors look good together. So if you are working on an afghan or something that you want to use a lot of color with, but you don't really know how to bring those colors together to make it look good, you can check out some of those color packs and let that sort of help you with your project inspiration. Now, I will link to those color packs in the review over on the website. You can check that out. It's also going to link to where you can purchase this yarn directly from Daramores. So as of right now, a lot of you here are located in the US, and as I said, this is a UK-based yarn company. So right now, you can purchase their yarn directly from their website. That's daramores.com, and I'll link to that in the video description below, as well as over at behookedcrochet.com/studiodk. That's where you can find all of the information we've talked about here in writing form, so you don't have to go back and listen to it again. You can find those links and just click on them directly. Well, as you've seen and heard here, my first impressions of Daramore Studio DK yarn are very positive. I feel very comfortable recommending this yarn to you, and I'm just really happy that I now have a yarn that I can recommend to people who are overseas. And I know there are a lot of you who are watching from Europe and from areas where this yarn is readily available in stores. And now I'm able to recommend a yarn to you and know wholeheartedly that I recommend it because I love the yarn and I can use it myself. If you are looking for a new yarn, you want to try something out, you're really interested in an acrylic yarn, but maybe you don't love the fact that you sometimes do get that pilling effect with it, I definitely recommend that you try this yarn at least once. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Across the board, like I said, it's anti-pilling. There's lots of colors available. It's available for purchase online, so it's super easy to buy, and it's really, really affordable. To me, that is like the unicorn of yarns. I think that you're going to agree 100%. Now, what I would ask of you is if you've used this yarn, then leave a comment in the comment section below, because I would love to hear your experience with this yarn too. And not only that, I think other people can really benefit from your experience with this yarn. So when you're looking at a yarn review, you're getting more than one person's opinion. Well, as I mentioned, there are 1,198 people who left a positive review for this yarn on the Daramores website, and I'm just really interested to see and hear your stories with it as well, and maybe learn about some of the projects that you've made with this yarn. So leave me a comment below and check out the Daramores website. See the other colors that are available, and then I think you'll be certain that this yarn is right for your next project.